If you've never met anyone with rheumatic heart disease, today you will. I'm Kat, and this is my story. When I was about 11 years old, I was diagnosed with RHD, rheumatic heart disease. At the time, my mother and I had never heard of this particular form of heart disease. And even now as an adult, I've never met anyone with rheumatic heart disease. I remember having a very painful sore throat. After a while, symptoms seemed to worsen. My body started to feel very sick. My mother took me in to visit with the doctor, and I remember them doing a throat culture, which later came back positive. And when they told my mom the news, they also told her that I needed to see a cardiologist as soon as possible. But in the meantime, I started my penicillin right away for the strep. Before my first visit to cardio, I began noticing these small, tiny bumps on my legs. They began to form these little clusters. At the time, I thought it was just a rash and didn't realize later it was something worse. The strep throat had caused a bacteria that turned into rheumatic fever. My first visit to cardio was both scary and interesting. I remember the doctors gathering around me as I stood in the hall in this thin little robe, and they were just in awe of all these little bumps on my legs. They would kind of discuss with each other what they thought was going on while they were running the test. And after they ran several tests, echocardiograms, blood tests, they gave my mom the news that I had heart disease, but not just any heart disease, rheumatic heart disease. That day was nearly 18 years ago. Today, at the age of 29, I've lived a pretty healthy and fulfilling life with rheumatic heart disease. I was even able to give birth to 2 healthy boys with no complications. I know that I'm one of the fortunate ones because of the treatment that I received as a child. Now that I'm older and beginning to learn and understand more about rheumatic heart disease, I understand how fatal this disease still is for very many children. The seriousness of rheumatic heart disease is rarely discussed, but it still remains the most fatal disease in several countries. I was blessed enough to receive the care that I needed, and I would love to see all children receive access to that same care. For this reason, I've made a commitment to share my story and raise awareness about rheumatic heart disease. Today, I'm living with rheumatic heart disease. But this year, thousands of people, children, will lose their lives to this disease. I urge you to share this video. If you have rheumatic heart disease, share your story and join us in the fight against this fatal